Hey, I'm going to show you how you can automatically send emails to your website visitors. And to do that, we will use Airbnb, we will use Clay, and we will use Smart Leads. When you look at your integrations page, you'll see that you have a lot of sales engagement platforms. So you see you have Instantly, Apollo, Outreach, and SalesLoft. And so each of these could be used. The logic remains the same, but in this case, for the sake of the example, we will use Smart Lead. So the first thing you have to do is, because we will push the data inside of Clay, you need to set up your integration. In this case, you can see here, I already did that. But if you want to do this, you need to click here. You would have setup integration. So you would click here, and then you will be tasked to copy paste a webhook URL. The way you find this webhook URL is by going inside of Clay. And what you would do is you would create a new table. And as you scroll down, you can import the data from the webhook. So here you click there, click on new blank table, then it's creating a source. And so it will auto-generate a URL that we will be able to copy paste. So here you can see the URL, we copy the URL and then we paste it here. And as you paste it here, you can click on save, and then you should just get some quick notification that says the configuration has been saved, so you know it works. And then the way it will look like, you can look at a table that's already been populated, is something like this. So you get information on the full name, the first name, the last name, the company name, the website. You also get email addresses, you get the job title, you get the LinkedIn URL, you get the web page your visitor was on, their city, state, and so on. So as you can see, you get a lot of information. What's most interesting to us is we need the first name of the person, because in most of the emails we will send, we will use the first name as a parameter. We want to have the company name, because this is also something that's pretty helpful when you do some outreach at scale. But most importantly, what we need to see is the email address, because if we want to do any kind of email outreach, we'll need to have the email address as an input. So here, as you can see, we have all of the data, and if we want to be even more fancy, we'll be able to use the rest of the data. But the whole idea is, from Clay, we will send all of the contacts to a Smart Lead campaign. So by clicking on Add Enrichment, you can choose Smart Lead. And so here you can see I picked Smart Lead, but there were a few others you could pick. So for example, you can see that you could do the same thing with Instantly. You could do the same thing with SalesLoft. You can do the same thing with Lemlist. So you can do the same thing across a variety of providers. In this case, let's keep it to Smart Lead. But the whole idea is that we will be adding leads to campaign. And here you need to connect your API key. So here, to find your API key, you will need to click on Add an account. And then as you add an account, it will ask you to paste your API key. In our case, what we'll do is we'll go inside of Smart Lead. Inside of Smart Lead, you can click on your settings. And here you see there is an API key. If you don't have it already, you can create the API key. It will auto-generate a unique code, and you can copy-paste this code from here to here. So in this case, it's already done. And then what I can do now is I can find a campaign. But before I find a campaign, I need to create this campaign. So what I'll do is, inside of Smart Lead, I will click on Create a Campaign. I will call this campaign B2B, and I will start drafting the sequence. So in this case, for the sake of the example, hey, what should we say? Outsourcing sales. And so here what we'll do is we'll just write a short email, in this case, something along the lines of, hi, first name, hi, first name, does, and then we will input the company name, company name, need help with sales, and then we'll add our signature, and that's it. In any case, you can do anything you want, but for the sake of example, let's keep it simple. And then once you have this, you can decide to leave it at this, or you can add a step so that you can create a multi-step campaign, which will mean that you will be able to send a first email and to automate the sending of a second one after some time. So in this case, for example, I click here, I click on email, I wait for 3 days, for example, and then I can ask, hi, first name, any thoughts on my notes? And then you can save the change. So anyways, now that we have this sequence that has been created, what we need to do is we need to send all of the data of the leads that we identify on our website through Airbnb. We need to send it to SmartLead. So here, what we'll do is that we will be looking for our campaign in the campaign ID field. Here you can see campaign ID, and I think I named the campaign Airbnb. Where's Airbnb? Let's check that. It was Airbnb. So the campaign is Airbnb. And then here now I have to match the fields. So like the first field was the business email because this is what we'll use to reach out to people. Another field was the first name. So up, we'll use the first name. And another field that was interesting to us was the company name. So you can add as many as you want. Here we have those 3. And then what I'll do here is that I'll save and then I'll run the first 10 rows. And then we should see these leads being automatically added to SmartLead. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of them are added. I'm guessing that the ones that are not added because we don't have the email address of the people. In any case, once you added the leads from Clay to SmartLead, you can go back to SmartLead and then you can have a look at the leads that have been added by clicking on Final Review. First need to save, and I first need to do a quick setup to just decide of the email I will use. So here I'm saying I will use those mailboxes to send my campaign, and I quickly have to decide of a time and a number of emails to be sent per day. And now we'll be finally able to check if my leads were properly sent. So here you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 6 people here. And so you can see that the first name has been sent out. Hi Taylor, hi Christian. And you can see that the company name also has been sent out. So here in this case, hi Karen, does Kylan Consulting need help with sales? And so we can check the first email and we can also check the second email. So here I'm asking Caroline 3 days later if she has any thoughts on my notes. So just so you know, when you do these campaigns, it would be best to make them a bit more sophisticated. But the idea is that since you know that they visited your website and you know which page they were on, try to make something that's related to what they do, so their job title, and that's related to the page they were on, so that you make sure that each of the email sequence you send is relevant.